Hi, everybody, and welcome. We are here. Welcome to the 2021 Spring Equinox ceremony. It's spring in the Northern Hemisphere, and I'm doing a happy dance. I hope you are too. I'm a double fire sign. You know, we tolerate winter, but when we gotta say goodbye to winter, we're like, buh and bye, and bye-bye, and also bye-bye. Yes! Welcome in. Happy Ostara, happy spring. If you're not in the Northern Hemisphere, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, I also want to greet you tonight and say happy fall. Because if you are below the equator tonight, you're getting ready to welcome the opposite season. So we here in the Northern Hemisphere are turning the wheel toward light, right? Longer days, warmer days. Some of you buried under snow are so excited about that right now. And then those of you in the South are like getting ready to say goodbye to the sun, right? Turn the great wheel of time. So welcome in. Thank you for being here. I'm so thrilled to have you. I'm with you for 2 hours tonight. We've never done this before. Do you know this? Do you know what you've signed up for? You don't have to stay for the whole 2 hours, but I hope you will. Hour one is our rabbit hole, Ostara. It's really a manifestation ceremony. I hope you're ready for that. I'm going to help you manifest some stuff tonight. And then hour two is a free class where I'm teaching you about the crystals of renewal for spring. I get to teach you about all different stones tonight. And I did this because I teach online classes in crystal healing. And a lot of people have said, I'd like to try a class. Can you show me what a class would be like before I invest $30 a month? You know? So anyway, the second hour is kind of a trial run to see how I teach crystals in case you'd like to join our programs. And even if you don't want to join our programs, it's a free 1 hour class on crystals for renewal. So tonight is fun. It's free. It's 2 hours. I'm ready to go. I've been waiting all day for this like a little kid. So excited to see you. So buckle up, enjoy the ride. 2 hours of fun. And if you're one of my online students, we already had an hour together today. Thank you for coming to our Spring Gateway ceremony. So my online students get me for an hour before all of you see me to actually officially open the season. So we had a really beautiful ceremony about 2 hours ago. So I'm really glad you guys were there. And we'll do it again in the summer. We'll do it again in the fall. We'll do it again in the winter time. Got 4 seasons a year, y'all. So welcome in. And thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. Is anybody seeing us for the first time? Anybody new to Sage Goddess or new to, either new to Sage Goddess or new to Spring Equinox ceremony? Maybe you've never come to an Ostara ceremony before, which is super exciting because I get to teach you, and I am going to teach you about this holiday right at the beginning, like in just a minute, because I really want you to understand this holiday and why it's so important to a lot of us. Not least of which, my kids were born on either side of this holiday. My daughter was born the week before Equinox, and my son was born the week after. So I have these March babies. So welcome in if you're new. I really hope that you're going to enjoy tonight. And I have designed tonight to be powerful but easy. You don't have to be super experienced to do the work tonight. If you just follow my lead, I'll take you right through the ceremony, and you'll have everything you need. Look at this. First Ostara, new to the learning, right? New to spring. So, and I love this, and some of you are very not new, which is okay too. I'm not going to call you old, but you've been around the block. So anyway, I hope for tonight that it's fun for you who are new, and that it's also still really enriching for those of you who've been doing this work for a long time. So thank you for being here. Ostara is beautiful. So let's begin at the beginning. I am going to burn a little sage and a little Palo Santo because at the high holidays, we really want to make sure that we are working with energetically kind of a clean slate. So we want to, really think about today as an exfoliation. Truly, energetically. We now have to slough off all those energies from winter, and regenerate, make space for what's new. So white sage is a really good purifier and cleanser. It comes through, it kind of just erases the screen. Makes way for what's new. I love it. Marie says, I'm not new, I'm just a quiet person. I love that. That's the duality, right? Because Marie, I'm the opposite. I'm like a not quiet person. In fact, I think my husband really wishes I was more quiet. But that's okay. I'll tell you something. There's no right way to be, and there's no right way to do magic or ceremony, and there's no wrong way to do it. So what I teach you, because I do free new moon, free full moon, and free high holiday ceremony all year long, what I teach you is my way. And it's the best of what I know and the best of how I've been trained, but however you do it is perfect for you. I don't think you need to fix, change, or, you know, shift anything if it's working for you. Yeah. My poor husband. He knew what he was getting into, though. Do you know what I mean? It's not like there was no false advertising here. I've always been a talker. You know. I think he needed a little fire. Right? That's right, Daniel Rapko. If you're a leader born at night, or if you're a Leo born at night, you're a silent leader. I'm a Leo born at high noon, Daniel. You know what that means? Sun in the 10th house, baby. It means I'm here to do it in public, which is why I'm here with you. It's the way, right? You're the behind the scenes. I'm the in front of the scenes. I know. So we're going to exfoliate tonight and get you ready for a hot, sexy summer. Take a nice deep breath of that. Just a little more Palo for you. Palo Santo comes from Central and South America, and it's magic. It really is. It's been used there for thousands of years. You know, these sacred herbs that we burn are not just for clearing energy. The smoke is actually antibacterial, antimicrobial, and antifungal. Did you know that? So every day you should be burning, receiving, inhaling, all the things. It's really good for you. Okay, so I'm going to teach you for a few minutes. Let me show you the tools for tonight, because we are going to be activating this grid tonight as part of our ceremony. I'm super excited about it. A lot of you have these tools, so let me show you. By the way, if you missed this kit, because it is sold out, at 5 p.m., so about like an hour ago, my team added the Mushroom Magic Perfume back into stock, and you can get the emeralds, rubies, and sapphires. So after tonight, if you're like, I really wish I'd gotten at least the stones or at least the perfume, because the perfume is rad. It's got a bunch of different mushrooms, pure mushroom absolutes in there. I'll teach you about it in a minute. Those are on sagegoddess.com for you. Yeah. So we're going to activate this grid tonight, and then we have our white rabbit candle, which you can light it now if you'd like. I'm going to do it. I've already burned mine a little bit just because I love it. This is my favorite ritual kit we've ever done in the history of Sage Goddess, because I love Alice in Wonderland. My daughter does too. We've watched the movies like 100 times together, which you probably have too. And I love the White Rabbit. I love Alice. I love the Cheshire Cat. Because the Cheshire Cat is like a shamanic guide, you know what I mean, through the landscape of Wonderland. And I love the idea of going down a rabbit hole and getting caught up in mysteries and magic and discovering secrets and all the things, right? So yeah, I'm super excited for tonight, and I hope you are too. And if you don't have your tools, it's okay. You may want to participate with me, right? Let me activate these energies for you. If you don't have the tools, it's okay. I think energy comes through the screen. So maybe you're brand new, you didn't even know that there was a set of tools for tonight. That's okay. Hang out, work with my tools, and see if you feel the energy. I think you will, even if you don't have the tools, so you're perfectly fine. Isn't that cool? Okay, so let me teach you for a little while. Let me teach us something. I got quite a few things to teach you tonight. We have a birthday girl too, Circe's birthday. Happy birthday to you. And thank you for spending part of your birthday with us. How special is that? And how cool is it to have a spring equinox birthday, right? This is such a great door opening occasion, right? It's a breath of fresh air. It really is, because we're moving from the earth element tonight in winter to the air element in spring. And so we're going to go from feeling kind of weighed down to feeling lightened up. You may feel it already, right? We're going to go from being too grounded to being a little more bubbly and effervescent, kind of like champagne, you know, the little bubbles that come up the sides of the champagne glass. Like, that's what tonight is. It's a little bit of like a pep in your step. And then by belting, I'm going to have you downright sexy. So, but we got to go from super grounded winter to light and airy spring to hot and sexy belting. That's kind of the trajectory. Okay, so why do we talk about rabbits at spring equinox? I know there's an Easter bunny. I'm not pretending I don't know about an Easter bunny. I sure do. But we talk about rabbits at Ostara because rabbits, you know, every goddess has an animal that's sacred to her, right? Like I'm named after the goddess of wisdom in the Greek pantheon, Athena. And the owl is my spirit animal. That's in the Greek mythology, right? Owl is always with me. Owl is always guiding me in my mythological line. And so the same is true for Ostara and the rabbit. But how did she come to have rabbit as her spirit animal, right? As her ally, as her companion. So the legend is that originally Ostara's companion was a bird. There's 100 different stories, by the way. I'm giving you one of the versions because otherwise this is going to be a 9-hour ritual. Cliff's notes. She had a bird. But she decided that the bird was not suited to the landscape. So she traded the bird for her rabbit. She was like, you know, rabbit's more suited to the land and all the things. But the rabbit remembered that it had once been a bird. She transformed the bird into a rabbit, and the rabbit remembered that it had once been a bird. And so what the rabbit did, what Ostara did, was honor the fact that her rabbit had once been a bird and gave it the right to lay eggs, but only once a year. And multicolored magical eggs, which is why we have Easter eggs. So Ostara comes along, Ostara's bunny comes along and, you know, gives you some rainbow colored eggs. I still do Easter egg hunts with my kids on Easter Sunday. Although today is technically the better day to do an Easter egg hunt, right? So anyway, that's the legend. So we have Easter eggs because Ostara's rabbit remembers when it was a bird. And the legacy of that is she allows it to lay eggs, but only once a year. And that's where we have our Easter eggs from, right? That's where it all started. All the traditions blend together. Ostara, depending on the language that you look at, Ostara, O-S-T-A-R-A, becomes Eostere, E-O-S-T-E-R-E. Eostere and Easter. Can you see it? Right? So, you know, it's a lot of people struggle with Ostara because it kind of undermines the Christian story, right? That because it's pre-Christian. So people look at Christianity with Easter, right, in this celebration of rebirth and the resurrection and stuff, and think, well, but Ostara came first, right, and then Eostre and then Easter. But they're all connected. I always tell you, I think all paths lead in the same direction. I was raised Christian. I don't know what I am now. People assume I'm a witch or I'm pagan because I do ceremonies and I'm on YouTube, which is really weird, but I'm not. I don't identify as pagan and I don't practice witchcraft in particular. I consider myself to be a medicine person because that's what my grandmother called herself. So that's what I consider myself to be, a healer, a wise person. But anyway, it doesn't matter because the pagan traditions and the Christian traditions and even some of the more modern sort of shamanic traditions and certainly the indigenous traditions, you can look at them as tributaries that all lead to the same river. Nothing is really that separate, right? So, yeah, so I think all the paths are leading us to the same direction. And I don't think it really matters where you're coming from, because you can find yourself, like in Ostara, if you're Christian, you can resonate here because Easter will resonate with Ostara, now that you know the linguistic origins of it, right? Thanks for being here, you guys. I really appreciate it. So yeah, so if that resonates with you, at least it helps you to understand the history, right? So that helps me too. Now tonight, we're working with, I've been doing this for 10 years. Sage Goddess started 10 years ago in July. Can you believe it? I've been doing new moon ceremony and full moon ceremony and high holidays with you for a decade. And I want to thank you for being here for so much of that time, because that's huge. Some of you are new, but some of you are not. And I think it's just so cool that we keep on rocking all these years later. But everybody, truly, everybody who's done ceremony with me over all these years, we try to do something slightly different every single year. So this year, what we decided to do is go with the white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. So I wonder what you think of this. So tonight, instead of thinking of the traditional sort of Ostara rabbit, we're working with this idea of going down a rabbit hole, which of course connects us with sacred geometry. And it connects us with pop culture to a certain extent, right? Thinking about Alice in Wonderland, which is a common narrative, I think, for a lot of us that we understand, right? And then it also connects us to the tarot, right? And it connects us to some of our spirit allies, and it certainly connects us to plant medicine, which a lot of us work with. I love working with plant teachers from the different plant kingdoms, and mushroom medicine is very special. The mushrooms we're working with tonight are not quite magic mushrooms. I can't give that to you. But we're going to work with my version of magic mushrooms, right? Yeah, it's really true. I believe it too. Okay, so let me speak to kind of what we're going to do tonight for the ceremony. And thanks, you guys. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so down the rabbit hole tonight means that we are going to go down these energy streams together. And we're going to work with ruby, emerald, and sapphire. Ruby is the rabbit hole of passion, right? What do you desire? Because ruby stimulates our sense of connection to what we really want in this life. It connects us to our life force, ruby does. And it's one of the precious gemstones. It's been prized by kings and queens, and now tonight we're going to work with it to go down the rabbit hole of passion and figure out what really is going to light you up. We have a 7-year-old in the feed, do we really? I would love to say hi to him. What's his name? I love that. If anybody knows what that cutie's name is, I would love to say hi to him. I try to stay focused here when I'm teaching and when I'm doing ceremonies so that I don't give you kind of a interrupted experience. So I don't engage too much in the feed, but I keep an eye on it. So anyway, if you would like to let me know who that little cutie is, I would love to say hello to him tonight if I can. Okay. So with sapphire, what we're going to do is we're going to go down the rabbit hole of wisdom tonight, right? So sapphire, and depending on where you look back, but really back to the origins of when we started working with sapphire. Sapphire has always been considered, back to the Vedas and the ancient Indian texts, as a stone of wisdom. That it illuminates the path of wisdom. Anthony Dennis, hi Anthony, how are you, cutie pie? I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here, and happy spring. And Avani is 10. Hi Avani, I'm glad you're here too, sweetheart. Thank you for being here. That was very sweet. I love that. Okay, so we're going to go down the rabbit hole of wisdom with sapphire, and then emerald, which comes from Colombia, comes from Brazil. Emerald comes, a lot of the emeralds right now that are mined on our planet come from India. And so emerald takes us down the path, a couple different paths. Emerald takes us down the path of prosperity. So we're going to do a rabbit hole around prosperity tonight and see what you need to know about prosperity that you don't know right now. And then, but emerald also takes us down the rabbit hole of love. Emerald is a stone of love and commitment and connection to your heart's deepest desires. So we're going to take you down that rabbit hole too and see what's there for you. So tonight's ceremony is all about you. It's about your wisdom. It's about your love. It's about your passion. It's about your connection with yourself and other people. And so I hope you're ready for kind of an eye-opening, heart-opening, third eye-opening ceremony tonight, because that's my intention. And I hope you're ready for all of that. Now, desert rose selenite, which is the other stone that you have on your grid over here. Let me pull this a little bit closer so you can see. Desert rose selenite is a purifier. See those little three little round cuties? They look like little roses, don't they? Desert rose selenite. We're going to go down the rabbit hole of purification. What do you need to cleanse, clear, and release right now in order to step into the bigger and deeper magic of the season ahead? So that's where we're headed tonight. You feeling good? Are you feeling ready? I'm feeling ready too. Yeah, I know. I'm so glad that you're here. Okay. And then of course the plate that everything, the grid that everything is sitting on is selenite, which cleanses and clears and purifies and is a really powerful mineral for all of those energies too. So, oh, I love that. Jackie's got her mom with her. Hi, Ruth. It's great to see you too. Thank you for being here. Okay, so I'm going to start tonight with the Mushroom Absolute perfume. This is a blend of reishi mushroom, lion's mane mushroom, and chaga mushroom with Sepi's Absolute. And the magic of Sepi's Absolute is that it's a French mushroom group, and it is so earthy and so it smells like the earth itself. If you've ever been inside a mine or a cave, it's that smell. So all of those pure essences are in this mushroom magic. And then you have labdanum, which is for power, which is important for the season ahead because you have a lot of power as we step into this spring portal together. Violet, which brings abundance and fertility. Amorous, which relieves stress. Reishi mushroom lightens the body. Lion's mane eases tension. Chaga heals the body and opens the third eye, which a lot of you know, right? Turkey tail, which supports the immune system and lifts your spirit. And then the Sepi's, the Mushroom Absolute from France, which helps you to overcome your obstacles and integrate the wisdom from them. Isn't that pretty? So a little bit on your wrist for what you do, a little bit at your third eye for what you know, and a little bit at your ankles for where you go. And when you anoint, that way you cover all the energy lines and meridians. And again, that's really based in multiple systems. It's based in Chinese medicine. It's based in the Vedas, which are, of course, where yoga comes from, where the chakra system comes from. It's also based in ancient Greek medicine, where they identified those lines and meridians of the energy and how it flows through the body. So it's interesting. The energy lines in the body come from all the different traditions. Every single tradition has some wisdom around that to share. Isn't it beautiful? It's so good. I'm like rubbing it into my clothes and into my everything so I can smell it later. I'm glad you like it too. Okay. So what I want to do before we begin our ceremony, and I want to tell you at the end of tonight, I have a giveaway. And this is thanks to Team SG, truly. My team ordered you some Alice in Wonderland goodies. This is a beautiful plate with the white rabbit. This is just a giveaway, so when we're done with our ceremony tonight, I'll choose a winner and I'll ship this to you. So you're gonna get a white rabbit plate. You're gonna get your saucer and your cup with the important words from Alice in Wonderland, drink me. I'm sure you remember what happened when she drank the potion, right? And there's Alice getting ready to go down the rabbit hole, right? So anyway, this is for your tea and this is for your treats. So I'm going to give this little set away. I only have one set, but I'm going to give it away at the end of our ceremony tonight. Isn't that cute? Kind of fun for our little Alice in Wonderland adventure tonight. Okay. So for the first part of our time together tonight, I want you to begin to relax. Drop into this moment. Let go of the stresses and the fears and the anxieties, right? And just be fully here. This is a earth element chime. It holds the frequency of the element of earth. And tonight we're letting that element go because that's the element of the season of winter. So tonight we say goodnight to earth. Thank you to winter for your medicine. Thank you for teaching us to slow down, to go within. What did winter bring you? Winter brought me a lot of wisdom this year. Winter for me this year was about discernment, you know? What do I need in my life? What do I not need in my life, right? Who's true, right? Who is authentic and who's not. There's a lot of discernment work for me around winter, and I'm very grateful for it, because I do find that the universe shows you, you know, your path and who's meant to walk that path with you. And if you pay attention, I feel like all that wisdom is available to you. I lost a really good friend in the winter this year, so that's also been a process of releasing, right? Ooh. Winter brought you courage. It's about going inside. It's always about that, right? Like going inside and reflecting and receiving and allowing, right? Calcination, that's right. And then there's a lighter song that comes, and that's the song of spring. It's lighter, it's sweeter, it's easier. It brings the winds that blow and the rains that fall and the flowers that bloom and the fruits that grow, right? And so now I want you to shift your thoughts to not what you've lost, but what you stand to receive now. As we come into the season of growth, abundance, fertility, possibility, opportunity, manifestation, right? So air, we greet you. Spring, we greet you tonight. We welcome you in. Clearing, cleansing, renewing. Receiving, allowing. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, and for those of you who shared my experience and had a lot of loss and sadness last year and through winter, I see you. And this is your chance tonight, you know, to bring a breath of fresh air, to bring a breath of clarity, to bring a breath of gratitude, and to really change the paradigm. If you'll allow yourself to really tune into the frequencies and how it's shifting, because nature is your mirror right now, right? Nature's showing us it's not time to grieve, it's time to begin to feel again, and to feel joy and to feel optimism and hope. It's time to breathe all that back in, right? Yeah, it's really important. But I see you. I know. I really know. So I see the yes and the no and the yin and the yang for sure. So that's Ostara. Now in the Great Wheel, right? The goddess now is preparing, right? And all of nature is pregnant. We just came from Imbolc, which means in the belly. So all of nature, all of the creatures, the birds are singing, the bunnies are bunnying, right? Everything is growing and expanding and preparing to give birth. And so this is the time of nature showing you what she's got. And I think it's also time to receive and just to be in that place of hope and possibility too. Okay, so I am going to turn our attention now to our grid. So to activate the grid with me, if you would like to, you need a double terminated wand. It can just be a quartz point that's double terminated, but you need something that allows you to send and receive energy. If you don't have a double terminated quartz point, do you know what your best alternative is? It's something you always have with you. This is your power finger, and it's strongest on your writing hand. So if you want to do this with me, but you don't have a double term quartz point, it's okay. Use your finger. You come with built-in power tools. Yeah, I see you guys. I see you. I know it's been a hard year. I know it. I'm no stranger to it. But part of why I'm here is I try to reflect to you the other side, the duality, you know, that there is beauty still, that there is hope still, that there is the song of the bird still, right? That's what I try to come and bring you. Yeah. It can be any kind of quartz. So it can be amethyst, rose quartz, clear quartz. It can be aventurine, which is also quartz. It can be petrified wood. Like anything with quartz in it, double term, is your baby. Yeah. So you're totally fine. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do with you now is I want to properly open our circle. And I'm so glad you guys are here. So I'm going to, I know we did this briefly already, but I just want to welcome in the guides and the guardians. And I've already opened my circle twice today, but it's always good to open it an additional time. Yeah, anything you have. Quantum Auto is good too, because that has quartz in it as well. So you're totally welcome to do that. Okay, you ready? So let's welcome in our guides and our guardians tonight. We're so grateful for their presence. And I know. And we want to begin in the east with the breath of life, the breath of this new season, the breath of possibility. We want to welcome in spaciousness in our mind, open-mindedness, right? Open-mindedness is what we're creating tonight. And new neural possibilities, opening up new ways of thinking, new ways of believing. So we welcome in the guides and the guardians of the east tonight to be present with us, to hold our circle and our space with us as we usher in this beautiful new season of spring. And to the guides and the guardians of the south, we're so thankful for you and your energies of transformation and fire element energy that gives us courage and optimism and hope. Thank you for helping us to shift and change and grow and to see that the lessons of our life are all leading us ultimately toward where we're supposed to be and who we're meant to be. We welcome you. And to the guides and the guardians of the west, welcoming you in tonight for emotional healing, asking you to see our hearts, to see my heart, to see your heart, to see your grief and your loss, but to also see your joy and your laughter, and to help you balance your emotions in the season ahead. We welcome you. And then to the guides and the guardians of the north, we welcome you in for grounding and protection and purification too in the north. Knowing that we can leave in the north anything that's too heavy for us to carry, so that we step into the east with a lightness of being. And thank you for being there with us, ancestors who also reside in the north, guiding our path in the year ahead. And with that, our circle is open. You should have 3 desert rose selenite, and you should have a ruby, a sapphire, and an emerald. So that there are really 6 points to your grid. Do you see? Sapphire, desert rose, ruby, desert rose, emerald, desert rose. 6 is one of the most sacred numbers in alchemy, which is what I teach. So that's why you have 6 stones, as above, so below. And then you have quartz points to mark the 4 directions. So hopefully you should see what we have there. So yeah, so that creates perfect balance in the grid. The as above, so below of the 6 points. Yeah, you're so welcome. And then you have your quartz generator in the middle. Okay, so we're going to begin tonight by going down the rabbit holes together. And I'm going to begin at the center of our grid. I'm actually going to change so that I'm full screen here. We're going to begin at the center of our grid tonight. Right here. Oh, good. You guys have exactly what you need. That makes me really happy. Okay, and so we begin here at the center. I like to actually connect my double term to that quartz generator in the center. And so, Great Spirit, God, Goddess, Source, Creator of all that is, whatever tradition, it goes by the same name. See us as we activate this grid tonight in service of purification, passion, wisdom, and love. We ask that these energies come into our life in a good way and that you magnify them in service of our highest good. Amen, aho, and so it is. That's right. So I like to always begin in the east when I'm activating my grids. And so for me, the east is the sapphire. It's up here. You can begin anywhere you would like, but I'm going to begin there. So just so you can kind of like track along with me. So I'm going to connect the energy of quartz, which is for magnification, to the energy of sapphire. And here, I'm going to ask our spirit guides to help us go down the rabbit hole of wisdom. So I'm going to activate this grid, and then we're going to come back and go down the rabbit holes. Are you ready? And back to quartz for magnification, and out to desert rose selenite for purification, and back to quartz for magnification, and out to ruby for passion, and back to quartz for magnification, and out to desert rose selenite for purification, and back to quartz for magnification, out to emerald for love, and back to quartz for magnification, out to desert rose selenite for purification, and back to quartz for magnification, and then back to that sapphire one more time for wisdom, and back to quartz. And so now I'm going to go from the quartz to each one of the other quartz points at the outer edges to seal the grid. Quartz to quartz, quartz to quartz, quartz to quartz, and back. And so we ask that this grid now be activated to hold energies of wisdom, passion, and love, as well as purification in service of your highest good and your growth in the season of spring ahead. And together we say, Amen, aho, and so it is. Amen, aho, and so it is. Now, what I'd like you to do, you can do this a couple different ways. You can touch your sapphire stone on your grid and connect with the energy that way, or you can simply, in your mind's eye, hold the energy of the sapphire as I lead you through the drumming. So first I'm going to drum you down the rabbit hole of wisdom, then I'm going to drum you down the rabbit hole of passion, and then I'm going to drum you down the rabbit hole of love. And I'm going to ask your spirit guides now to come closer. And as we go from one rabbit hole to the next, I'm setting the intention that you will see exactly what you need to activate, what you need to manifest in the areas of wisdom, passion, and love in the season ahead. Yeah, I actually changed my grid activation technique a little bit. Because I found that it's more powerful vibrationally to connect all the quartz in a second round. I'm constantly learning and growing, though. That's my favorite part of this whole process. So hopefully that's helpful for you. So let's begin, spirit guides, by going down the rabbit hole of wisdom tonight. So the rabbit hole of wisdom can take you a couple of different places. It can take you into your third eye, so you might be feeling the space between your eyebrows tingling a little bit. Let's go inward with our wisdom now, guys, and help us to discern the pathway. Take us down that winding tunnel of wisdom. Where in our lives, where in our hearts, where in our relationships do we need to activate wisdom tonight? Is it with your family? Is it with your partner? Is it at work? Is it just within you? Is it your past life wisdom that you need to activate? You have so much wisdom because you've been here a couple times, right? So do you need to activate that right now? Where is your wisdom? Where does it need to go? Where does it need to guide you? let's ask how. How do you need to activate your wisdom? Is it going to come through divination? Maybe it's going to come in your dreams. Is there going to be a messenger for you? One lump or two, that's right. All your wisdom coming back to you. And you know what let's do now? Let's activate your wisdom. Let's call your wisdom back to you from all those lifetimes and all those places, all those civilizations, all those incarnations. Let's call it in. Let's call it in from the east. Let's call it in from the south. Let's call it in from the west and from the north. And so we ask for our wisdom to be reinstated, activated, connected, integrated. Season ahead. Show us, direct us, guide us. We're ready to learn, right? Show me the way. Show me the way. When you start to realize how much wisdom is in this universe, it's overwhelming. But that's why I never get bored. I'm constantly learning and growing and adapting and changing. But that's why we're here. And now, let's go down the rabbit hole of passion. You want to? I want to. Woo! It's okay if you get a little heavy-headed and you want to lay down and close your eyes. You'll still get some good medicine, some good direction tonight. It's okay. Just rest. This is your time. I do this for you. I'm just here for you. So you take this where you need it to go. Down the rabbit hole of passion. Ooh, where is it? Down that winding, massive, awesome staircase. It takes you from your monkey mind down into your lower chakras, to your sacral chakra, to your root chakra. I am, I create. That's the energy of Ruby. I am and I create. So who are you and what do you create? What do you make? What do you love? If I told you that you had to take a month, 30 days, and only do what you loved, I took your responsibilities. If I told you you had to do that, what would you do? Would you travel? Would you teach? Would you make art? Would you sing? Maybe you'd write. Maybe you'd rest and just sit in nature for 30 days. That's your passion. I love that, Amanda. Amanda said, I am love. Everything I touch turns to gold. It does. Play with puppies and kittens. Be a healer. Help people. Yeah. Play music. Meditate more. I love it. So let's get you closer to that. Let's ask the universe to come in and take some of your responsibilities. Create ease for you so you can live these passions. I'm so glad you're here. can be physical passion too. Who you loving on? What are your physical desires? Source Creator, see us here. Activating the I am, I create energy lines. Who are you? What do you want? Nice to meet you. Who are you? What do you want? Let's manifest it tonight. Yeah. Spirit guides, take us down that passion rabbit hole and show us what we're meant to create, what we're meant to love. Help us get our passion, our excitement back. Wake us up. We give thanks for passion that's already on its way. And the people who come and help us awaken it, we call them in too. So good, right? And last, we're going to go down, well, not last, we have one more. Next to last. We're going to go down the rabbit hole of love. This one's also prosperity. What do you love? Who do you love? What do you need? Not what do you want? What do you need? To make your dreams come true, what would be enough? All your dreams. We're only limited by our imagination and feeling worthy too, right? Let's call in that love. It's beautiful, Athena. This is physical healing, mental healing, emotional healing. This is prosperity of health, of money. This is love, heart opening, heart expanding, heart thumping, connection with another soul. This isn't about the passion. We already did that. This is about the love, unconditional love. Loving you just as you are because you're worthy. The kind of love that could never judge another person, which is the love that I strive to embody. Because when we're judging other people, we're really judging ourselves. So I'm trying to move out of that place into deep self-love, which makes me a better parent, makes me a better partner, right? Love, prosperity, call it in. Great Spirit, Source Creator. See us as we call in love and prosperity from all directions, all sources. Enough, more than enough. Fill our hearts. Renew our faith and love. Last but not least, with that desert rose selenite. Again, if you'd like, you can just touch your stone to kind of connect with the energy. But you don't have to, it's right there. Your stones have a 12-inch radius of energy, and so do you. So I'm technically touching my crystals now. Desert rose selenite takes us down the rabbit hole of purification. Great Spirit, Source Creator. Help us to cleanse, release, renew, restore on this sacred night of renewal. Releasing, purifying. Bringing just this angelic, divine energy of lightness. So here we can call in Physical lightness, if you're trying to lose weight, some people are, I am, although I'm like halfway there now. Woo, right? It can be an energetic lightness, right? Calling in light energy into your field. It can be purifying what feels dense and heavy in your field. Grief, loss, right? Fear, resentment, anger, judgment, all those lower vibration emotions. Source Creator, see us in our purification efforts tonight. Help us to manifest a lightness of being. Take us down that rabbit hole. What would it mean to be lighter essence, lighter energy, lighter in our bodies? Help us to shift and change and release what is too dense to be carried forward into the season of spring. Those of you in the Southern Hem tonight, you can do a lot of powerful work here because you're heading into the shadow season with your ancestors. So this work is even more powerful in some ways for you guys because you're in the season of release. You're in the harvest. So you can do this work in a powerful way. We give thanks for purification already on its way tonight. We want to honor, acknowledge, and receive with gratitude the wisdom, the passion, the love, the prosperity, and the purification that these beautiful crystals are anchoring for us. And together we say, Amen. Aho. And so it is. That feels really good. I feel something of a shift already. I love it. Lisa's vibrating. You can feel it when energy shifts, right? It's not something that you know, like intellectually. It's something that you feel. You can feel the energy start to sort of move and shift, and welcome that, because that's actually how physical changes in your body happen, right? First the energy shifts and then the body reacts. So, and I've gone through so many energetic shifts over the last 10 years. If you look back at my YouTube videos, it's like a whole different person 10 years ago. I've been doing this for a long time and I believe in it. So aho to that. You guys did great. And I will tell you that selenite plate that your grid is sitting on, this is something that you can work with. Again, we're working with the hexagon tonight, right? 6 crystals, 6 sides, as above, so below. If you're not familiar with sacred geometry, that's an important shape because it represents the cosmic balance in the universe. So keep this plate. This can be something that you put your coffee on in the morning to cleanse and clear. You can put your other stones on here to clear it. You can put your jewelry on here at the end of the day to clear it. Selenite instantly clears and does not need to be cleared. Selenite and black kyanite are the 2 crystals that do that. So this should be a working tool in your collection. You can sit on it and clear your central channel too. I mean, there's kind of no wrong way to do it, right? And the Sri Yantra that's on that selenite, the Sri Yantra, represents the integration of masculine and feminine. Now there's 54 lines in the Sri Yantra, and each one has a masculine frequency and a feminine frequency for a total of 108 energy lines in that one shape, which is why there's 108 beads in your mala, right? Because 108 in the Vedic tradition is the number of energy centers or nadis in your body, Nadis. So this actually, there's a lot of energy in that plate, and all of the geometry is very intentional, and the number of crystals is very intentional. Everything is 3 and 6, and there's a 4 in there too, but 4 also represents its own type of balance. So enjoy. I'm glad that you will be able to work with those tools after tonight too. Okay, you can leave your grid activated for as long as you want. When you decide you want to take it down, do you know how we activate it clockwise? You're going to do exactly what I did before you take your crystals off, but you're going to do it counterclockwise to deactivate it. That is best done at a new moon, but you can do it anytime. You could deactivate it now if you wanted to, but I would leave it up. My recommendation is leave this grid somewhere set up as it is until summer solstice when we gather again for the change of season, right? So I think that's a good way to work with your tools going forward. I'm so glad. Thanks you guys for being here. I'm really glad that you felt the energy of that ceremony, because it's so important on these high holidays to really acknowledge what's going on. And there's so much energy because these are vortex points in our year, right? So we don't get these high holidays every day. They're really to be celebrated and appreciated. So, and I'm always happy to do it in your company, right? Yeah. So we're going to release our guides and guardians with so much gratitude. And we do that in the opposite order from which we called them in. So we're going to release the guides and the guardians of the north. Thank you for being with us, for grounding us, for protecting us, and keeping us connected across space and time, for reminding us of the beauty of time. And thank you to our ancestors who were here with us tonight too. I could feel mine. I hope you could feel yours too. We release the guides and the guardians of the north with gratitude. And to the guides and the guardians of the west, thank you for the emotional healing tonight, the ability to connect with our deeper emotions as we prepare for a new season. We release you with gratitude. And to the guides and the guardians of the south, thank you for bringing us passion and courage and strength as we move into this new season. We're ready to engage our life force and our passion in the south and connect to our purpose in a new way. We release you with gratitude. And to the guides and the guardians of the east, as we greet you in your season. We are so happy to be working with the element of air now. I am so happy. I could use some air. Thank you for the space and room to breathe. Thank you for creating spaciousness around us so that we feel free to roam. And thank you for the possibility and hope that this new season brings. And we give thanks and release the guardians of the east with gratitude. And with that, our 9th spring equinox together. 2012 was our first spring equinox ceremony. Oh my God. So our 9th spring equinox ceremony together is in the books. I'm so thrilled that you were here. I appreciate you. Yes, indeed. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yeah. So I have a few things to tell you. If you would like the mushroom perfume from tonight, or the rubies, emeralds, or sapphires, those are all at sagegoddess.com. They're all 19% off with code GROW19. And you get this cutie pie little, I meant to put mine on and wear it, but this is your free gift today. Did you see you get a little kaleidoscope? Because we thought Alice in Wonderland. Isn't it cute? It's got little crystals on the outside. I don't know if you can see that, but that's sweet. So that's your little free gift today. So enjoy. And the number one thing that you need to get before midnight is your set of tools for Beltane. So if you're new and you're like, I didn't have my tools for tonight, I didn't know there were tools. Your tools for Beltane include a fire crown. Did you see? So we're going to decorate these ombre fire crowns. You're getting these little flowers to decorate it with, because Beltane's all about flowers and colors. You're getting sari ribbons, there's a candle, and you're getting incense and a little dish to burn your incense in, and you get your fire perfume, and you get 2 stones. And then one person who gets their tools before midnight tonight, on top of all of that, is winning this incredible double terminated tantric twin Tangerine Aura Lemurian quartz wand. in sterling silver. Isn't it gorgeous? I know. So anyway, good luck, everybody. And don't forget your code. It's GROW19, because that takes almost 20% off your kit for next month. These were 3/4 sold out when I started my ceremony with you tonight. So if you'd like one sooner than later, because I don't have any more flower or any more of the crystal crowns. I don't. And I don't have any more candle jars, and I don't have any more of the little paper flowers. So I would not be able to recreate this kit. So if you'd like it, it's there. I know. Oh, you get your, I forgot to show you the art. You get your canvas too. I wrote you a poem for Beltane. And so my graphic design team took my poem and wrapped it around Beli Sama, who's the fire goddess we're working with next month. So you get that too as part of your kit. I'm going to frame mine because I just think the art is beautiful. I love Beltane. It's a sexy holiday, and I cannot wait to celebrate it with you. So, okay, so if you're staying with me, I'm going to be live with you for a whole extra hour right now. I'm not signing off until 8 p.m. Pacific time, which is 11 p.m. Eastern time, and super duper late everywhere else. It's a +8 on top of Pacific time for UK time and Central Europe. So anyway, if you're hanging out, what I'm going to do for the next hour is give you a sample of what I teach like. I teach online programs. One of them is called Crystal Masters, which is an online class in crystal healing. And a lot of you have said that you'd like to see what a class is like. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a taste of what class is like, and also give you a chance to learn about my 4 favorite stones for growth and renewal for spring. So I'm going to take an hour right now to teach. You're more than welcome to stay. This is a free class. And a lot of these stones you might actually already have. So hopefully I'll teach you a little something about them that maybe you don't know yet. And then I'm also going to take some time to answer any questions that you have. So we'll leave a little time at the end for Q&A, which is always fun because you know me, like I'm an open book. We can go anywhere you want. So you get a whole extra hour if you'd like. And if you can't stay, I totally understand. I want to thank you for joining us for our equinox ceremony, and I want to wish you a beautiful weekend. Because I totally get that too. I have kids and a family. Sometimes staying late is not an option. So if you can stay, I'd love to have you. If you can't, mwah. I hope tonight was a beautiful experience for you. I really do. Okay, you ready? I love it, Megan. Well, you're here for this, and I'm so glad. Yeah, and if you're already my student, you're welcome to stay. I told my students today, I'm like, you probably know everything that I'm going to talk about tonight, but maybe it's fun to hear it again, and I'm always down to spend more time with you. So yes, this is the giveaway before I transition on. This is the giveaway. So Alexis and Hannah, which by the way, thanks you guys for being there tonight, and happy spring to you too. So Alexis and Hannah will guide you. I'm pretty sure they're putting a post up on our event page, but they'll guide you about how to enter to win. So again, you're going to win the whole tea set. This plate is everything to me because I love the white rabbit so much, and I just think he's so cute. Isn't he cute? So anyway, somebody's going to win this beautiful set. There's no purchase necessary to enter. So just stay tuned for Team SG's directions about how to enter to win, and we'll announce the winner on Monday, I think. But let me let Alexis and Hannah tell you the process. Sometimes I screw it up, so I try to leave it to the experts. Isn't it cute? I think we're going to choose on Monday because Team SG has the weekends off. So I think we'll probably announce the winner on Monday, which is nice. It gives you the weekend, right? So maybe you forget to enter tonight, but all of a sudden Sunday you're like, oh, I should enter. So good luck. Okay. Now, there are crystals for everything, right? So I want to back up for a minute and just tell you that I've been working with crystals since I was 15. I started my collection earlier than that, but it was like a kid's collection. You know what I mean? Every time my family and I would go on road trips or whatever, and we go to tourist shops, I would always get a crystal. You know, usually my parents would let me buy a crystal, right? And so I started collecting crystals when I was, you know, I think I was 7 when I got my first piece of amethyst, 6 or 7 years old. But I've been drawn to them like a moth to a flame my whole life, and I still am obsessed with crystals. You're sitting right now, if you're new, this is my crystal room at home. So I'm very lucky. I have a spare bedroom that I converted into a crystal den, and it houses my whole collection from the time I was very little. So I'm going to go through the crystals of renewal with you. I'm going to focus on just those for now. But at the end of our time together tonight, in about 20-30 minutes, I'm going to make space just for questions, and you can ask me anything. And I'll give you my best shot, give you my best answers on everything too. Okay, so let's dive right in. I love green aventurine, and I'm going to show you 2 different forms of it. We do have these crystals at Sage Goddess. If you don't have them, they're all really affordable crystals too. Like these are $1. But if you already have them, I'm kind of hoping you're going to fall in love with them all over again. I was first introduced to green aventurine when I was in my, I want to say late teens, early 20s, okay? Because I was going for a job interview. I think I was like 20, 21. And I researched what crystal should you carry in your pocket for a job interview, right? And the unanimous answer was green aventurine. Green aventurine is a quartz-based mineral. So it actually still is quartz. We call it aventurine, but aventurine is a quartz-based mineral. I think I'm going to turn on my other cameras sometimes so you can see a little bit better, because the camera quality might be better. There we go. So it's a beautiful, you know, grass green, but it is a quartz. And that's how it looks polished. Depending on where it comes from and the temperature in the mine as it was growing, you'll find darker pieces of green aventurine, and then you'll find sometimes lighter pieces of green aventurine. Same mineral. This is natural. So this is literally aventurine out of the mine. These are both from Brazil, but one is natural, meaning it hasn't been polished. Isn't it pretty? It's got like a really pretty sheen to it. But you can see more of the quartz in it, right? Isn't that fun? And then this one is tumbled. Now there's 2 different ways of tumbling stones, and you may know this as well, but some people are new, so they may not know. You can machine tumble, which is more cost effective, or you can hand polish. Most tumbled stones are machine tumbled, but every once in a while, like we at Sage Goddess will get something that's hand polished too, and that makes it kind of special. Because then you actually had a person doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you kind of have the energy of the person who's polishing your stones in the mix too, which I think is really sweet. So this is aventurine. Aventurine, metaphysical properties: growth, good luck, fertility. Although you're not going to hold aventurine and just poof get pregnant. Okay, like people come to me and they're like, I don't know if I should work with aventurine because like I don't want any more babies. I'm not looking to have more babies either, but I still work with aventurine all the time because it opens doors. It really is a door opening stone. If you know someone who's trying to get a job, if you know someone who's trying to manifest prosperity, this is a really good stone to have. And what's nice about it too is you can use this as a centerpiece of a prosperity grid because it's quartz. You always have to have quartz in the center of your grids, okay? Because think of it like the battery that's charging the grid, right? So you've got to have quartz in the middle there so that it can power the rest of the grid. If you notice the rabbit hole grid that I was sharing with you tonight, you have a quartz generator in the center and you have 4 quartz points at the outer edges. That's the battery. And then this is how it, you know, it terminates. The energy extends. The energy lines extend to the quartz points. So it creates kind of like a web of energy. And so quartz is really important when you're gridding. Yeah. There's big tumbling machines. Did you ever have like, when I was little, it was really crappy, by the way, but my dad bought me a tumbling machine because I was so into crystals, and honestly it would have taken like 6 months to tumble a stone in that thing, and it was really loud. I remember my mom not liking it because she was just like, what is this thing that's making all this racket, you know? But there are like industrial tumblers. you know what I mean, that are much faster and probably not as loud. Mine was not very good. But anyway, so you can tumble stones at home. It is kind of a fun hobby thing, but I'll just prepare you. It's loud, it takes forever, and you know, it's not really going to facilitate you having a lot of tumbled stones. Yeah, so always, for me, always quartz in the center of a grid. Again, because you want your battery pack there. And quartz is the highest vibrational mineral on the planet. It's called silicon dioxide. Quartz is found on every continent. It's widely available. It's mostly affordable. There are some forms of quartz, though, that are extremely expensive. And a lot of it depends on inclusions, markings, and terminations. And sometimes the region and the location of the mining as well. But yeah. So if you had one of those tumbling machines, you kind of know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, I think it costs like $20. But it's kind of fun. I mean, if you're teaching your kids about geology, when my kids were, Nick was in second or third grade, his teacher, I loved his teacher, and she was teaching a unit on geology, and I'm a credentialed teacher. I was a professor for 15 years before I started Sage Goddess. So I said, hey, you know what? I have a credential. Would you mind if I came into the classroom and taught your geology unit? And then I'll bring stones. And so I brought a big bin. Nick still remembers. I brought a mail bin full of dirt, and I planted about 60 stones inside. And I let the kids mine them. So every kid got to walk away with a crystal. And then we learned about the crust and the mantle and, you know, the actual technical geological. And I'm so glad I did that, because I didn't think he would remember that I did it. But just a couple of weeks ago, he was like, remember when you taught geology to my class and we mined our stones out of the dirt? But anyway, it sounds like Crystal's got a tumbler that she likes. So maybe there's a good one on the market. And if so, you know, that could be really fun for you. Okay, now the next stone of renewal that I want to share with you tonight is called Aquamarine. And I'm a big fan of this particular mineral. Now, my students would tell you that I have a song that I sing about Aquamarine, because Aquamarine is blue beryl. Beryl is a mineral group, a hexagonal mineral group, meaning it grows in hexagons just like this. If there's time at the end and you guys want to see it, I'll show you a big natural aquamarine hexagon. It's super, super pretty. But blue beryl is aquamarine. So this is a totally different mineral from quartz, different mineral structure. I mean, it's still hexagonal, and quartz is hexagonal, but it has different properties to it. It grows in sometimes different regions, although aquamarine grows with quartz, so you will find quartz in the pocket. Aquamarine is blue beryl, morganite is pink beryl, emerald, which is on your tray tonight or on your grid, is green beryl. Did you know that? This is a hexagonal mineral. Rubies and sapphires are also hexagonal minerals. So I thought that was really cool when I was designing this grid. I thought, wouldn't it be cool to give you a hexagonal grid with all hexagonal minerals, except for the desert rose selenite. It's kind of cool. So you're seeing that repetition. Because blue beryl is aquamarine, and pink beryl is morganite, and yellow beryl is heliodor, and green beryl is emerald, and red beryl is bixbyite, and clear beryl is goshenite. Did I miss one? Anyway, that's my beryl song. Somebody told me to put it on TikTok, and I was like, that's absolutely not happening. I don't want to be remembered for my beryl song. Anyway, we'll help you remember all the different names of the beryls. So, but this is the queen in some ways of the beryl family for emotional healing. The queen of the love beryls is morganite, but this is the queen of healing. Aquamarine is the birthstone for the month of March. So if you're born in this month, which both of my kids were, then this is your birthstone too. And I love it. We have a couple different sizes and different types at Sage Goddess. We keep it in stock all the time because people just love it. But who isn't in need of emotional renewal? And one of my friends and teachers really believes that aquamarine is connected to Avalon and to the legend of Merlin and Merlin's magic. And so it's connected to dragon magic. And there's just all kinds of interesting legends and tales about aquamarine. It is the best stone for renewal. If you were to ask me, you know what, Athena, I just want one. stone for renewal for this season, this would be the one I would give you. So if you need to cleanse and clear the emotions, maybe you've really been through it in the last year and you're like, I just need a reset of my heart, this is the stone I would point you to. I really feel like Aquamarine helps you to cry the tears you haven't cried yet. You know, so it helps you finish processing unprocessed emotion, which is a big part of emotional healing, is going in and really figuring out which emotions remain that need to be worked through and processed. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Zoe's birthday was last weekend and Nick's birthday is next weekend. So, and that was not intended. My daughter was late and my son was early. No mother really wants her kids' birthdays right next to each other. Birthday parties have always been really stressful because it's like, good, now her birthday's done, now his birthday's here. But anyway. And they're different signs because my daughter's a Pisces and my son's an Aries, which is interesting too. So emotional renewal, check, right? We've got Aquamarine. Good luck, growth, fertility, new opportunities, expansion, check. We've got Aventurine, right? So those are your first two crystals I wanted to show you tonight. Oh, I didn't grab green calcite, did I? We should talk about it though. Did I have it? Maybe I don't have it. I think I had it, but now I don't have it. Anyway, we were going to talk about green calcite tonight, but that's okay because we'll talk about Lemurian blue calcite. But first I'm going to talk about this stone, which is called Larimar. Let me show you on the other camera. Oh my goodness, you guys, this stone just does something to me. I've been a lover of Larimar ever since I encountered it. Now, Larimar is a very hard stone to source because it only comes from one place, and that's an underwater shelf off the coast of the Dominican Republic, which is in the Caribbean. So if you're looking at that going, God, that looks like Caribbean water, it totally does. So this stone literally only comes from that one place in the world. And when you want to look for quality with Larimar, because sometimes you'll find it and it's real washed out, you really want to see Larimar that has a deep, intense amount of blue, and you want those white lines in between. It almost looks like islands floating in the ocean. So that's what a good quality piece of Larimar looks like. So Larimar is literally water mermaid magic. It comes from the Dominican Republic, which is very close to where we think Atlantis was, right? We believe Atlantis, you know, Lemuria was off the coast of California and Central and South America, up, you know, in the Pacific Ocean, down to the Indian Ocean. We believe Atlantis, which was the other sort of ancient civilization, we believe that was in the Atlantic Ocean, off the coast of Florida and all around, you know, what they call the Bermuda Triangle, we believe is Atlantean. So this stone represents Atlantis, and what Atlantis represented is technology, writing, communication. This is a powerhouse throat chakra stone, and I love it for renewal because a big part of renewal for me is expressing my needs and desires. I need this, I need to shift this, I need to change this, I want more of this, less of that, like really communicating, and I find that Larimar is an excellent stone for communication. It's also really good for heart-centered communication. So for me, a lot of times when I'm communicating, I want to be able to speak from my heart and speak my truth in a loving way. There's no better stone for that than Larimar. So isn't it beautiful? I feel drawn to certain stones too, Charles. And you know, it's different for everybody. Like some people would look at Larimar and go, meh, but then they look at Aquamarine and they light up, right? And so, but each crystal has its own resonant vibration. So what I have found in my travels is that if I'm drawn to a stone, I either need it now or I'm gonna need it. How many times have you guys had this happen where you are so drawn to a crystal and you're like, but I don't need this, and then 6 months later you're like, now I know why I bought that crystal. I was going to change jobs, or it turned out, you know, I was going to find a new relationship or whatever. Like, I find that the crystals will like preview themselves to me, and then I'll just be like, you have to learn to listen for the call, right? I've never heard that Atlantis was in Santorini, Greece, but you know, it's interesting that you say that because what I've been taught in my studies over these decades is that the Atlanteans did flee to Greece when Atlantis was falling. And remember, these civilizations were huge. We actually don't know how big the continents were, right? We have a good guesstimate, but we don't know. But the Atlanteans fled to Greece and into Rome, and certainly to Egypt, and then north to Tibet and to the Himalayan ridge. So I have always had a connection between Atlantis and Greece, because obviously if you think about it, Hermes and Mercury, who are different versions of Thoth, who was a high priest in Atlantis, they were in Egypt and Greece and Rome. So it would make sense that they fled there, but I've never heard that that area was the actual continent. But, you know, it could be. I'm open to all possibilities all the time, for sure. Okay, so, and then the last stone I want to tell you about tonight, and then I'm going to open myself up to your questions for the last half hour. Are you guys having fun? Thank you for staying, by the way. A good chunk of you stayed. There was only like 100 people who logged off, so I really appreciate that. I wasn't sure how many people would stay if you were interested in learning more about crystals, so this is awesome. I'm super glad you're here. Larimar is spelled Larimar. I believe the name comes from the daughter of the man who discovered it. If I have my story correct. Yeah, that's why it's called Larimar. And then the last stone I want to tell you about tonight is my favorite of the ones we've talked about. This is Lemurian blue calcite. When I first encountered this stone, it was being sold as blue onyx. It comes only from Argentina. It looks like the water. It is so tender and so delicate, and it is such a stone of peace and harmony. And because I have so much fire in my chart, I'm always looking for stones that harmonize the emotions, because I don't have any water in my chart other than my Mercury, which is in Cancer. So I don't have that energy, but I've always wanted it. And my daughter's pure water, and she's not attracted to this stone. So I think it's because she already has enough of it in her chart that she doesn't need it. But it looks like a little button of water, doesn't it? I love it too. So this comes from Argentina, and it's at high elevation. This stone is really hard to get. It's really, really hard to mine. It is a calcite, so they did testing, right? It's not an onyx material, it is a calcite material. You can kind of tell by looking at it, because calcite has this kind of like shiny, kind of waxy texture a little bit. And onyx doesn't really have that texture. It's very satisfying, this stone, because it's very soft when you kind of rub it between your fingers. So this is, again, a stone of harmony, unity, connection. It is associated with Lemuria, so part of the reason why I wanted to show you these two stones next to each other. This would be a great duo for you to work with, especially if you're trying to figure out, did you come from Lemuria or did you come from Atlantis? When you start working with these stones, it'll become clearer to you where you may have made your first entrance onto this planet, right? So this is considered a Lemurian stone because of its energies of unconditional love and acceptance and harmony, but also because Argentina is one place that we believe the Lemurians fled when their civilization fell. Yeah. It is neat to hold. I love the texture of it. It's soft, and all calcites are like that. It isn't just Lemurian blue. Calcites that you would get from Mexico, which include green calcite, red calcite, orange calcite, honey calcite, all have the same kind of super fun, waxy, soft texture. Very satisfying. And I'll tell you something, and I've heard this consistently over the many, many decades. They say that if you feel attracted to calcite, that you are strongly psychic. I've heard that so many times. The people who are automatically like, if you take somebody into a crystal shop and they just make a beeline for calcite, that can be a sign of their psychic gifts. That calcite magnetizes people who have a really awakened third eye. Interesting, right? I know. Who knew? Could be a sign of your gifts, right? We do have Larimar. Yeah, all of these stones are at sagegoddess.com. I can't read, Alexis and Hannah, the posts myself personally. Let's see what the team has posted for you. So I don't know if they're posting the individual links for you. If you guys have the individual links, it might be helpful because somebody might be looking for Larimar but not for Lemurian blue calcite. Or if there's a link to, these are all in on the main page at sagegoddess.com. So if you go to the main website and just scroll down, you'll find them all there. And if you want any of them, your code is GROW19 for 19% off. Don't forget that because that's a lot of a discount. You can always get bigger pieces. That is such a great question. As a Leo, I'm like, yes, you can always get bigger pieces. Some of these stones get very expensive in bigger pieces. Larimar in particular is very expensive because it's hard to find. It only comes from one place in the world. Whereas Aventurine is mined in different parts of the world. Comes primarily from Brazil, but you'll find other places, other pockets of Aventurine. Blue Lemurian calcite, again, expensive, but it only grows in that one place in Argentina, right? So yeah, I love honey calcite too so much, and that's a really good stone for healing around family issues or challenges. It harmonizes the family. Yeah, so Larimar gets really expensive. Aquamarine in big pieces gets really expensive, even though it's not uncommon. Aquamarine grows in Pakistan, which is where most of the aquamarine in the world is coming from right now. It also grows in Southern California because there's an active tourmaline mine just north of San Diego that edges up to the Palo Indian Reservation. And then there's Brazil, Pakistan, and California are where you'll find aquamarine. But big quantities right now are coming out of Pakistan primarily. Yeah. You liked that white calcite. I know. I liked it too, and I'm having a hard time getting it. I know. But I will. You've reminded me now, Michelle, so from your fingers to our team's ears. So those are the stones of harmony, renewal, growth, emotional healing, good luck, fertility, prosperity, expansion, in a nutshell. And so that is Lemurian blue calcite, Larimar, Aquamarine, and Aventurine. So what questions do you have? Now I want to turn it over to you so you get a little bit of a sense of my teaching style. This is what my classes are like. So I'm talking to you, but I'm watching the feed, and then I leave time for Q&A. So if you're interested in learning more about crystals, the website is sagegoddess.com/classes. And Crystal Masters is $30 a month, and you get 3 hours live with me a month for that, and a private Facebook group where I can answer your questions. So it's kind of fun. And at the end of the year, you get a certificate as a crystal healer. We call you Crystal Masters. I used to teach graduate school. I was a professor, so I used to go to commencement and pronounce people a master of arts or a master of science, and now I get to pronounce people masters of crystals, which is very fun. Okay, so now I'm going to dive into your questions and see how many I can get to for the rest of our time together. Can you carry too many crystals? I'm probably the wrong person to ask. I will tell you this. I think you should start small. I'm not a big proponent of people, when they're just beginning, buying a ton of crystals, because I think if you just work with a few instead of a lot, you're going to really connect with them, and I think you'll learn better. I think it's easy as you go when you're starting, because the crystal world is huge, right? It's a big world, so you have a lot to learn when you're starting. Yeah. How many months do the classes run? All year long, forever. My classes are taught in years, so we just started in January, but if you start now, you can go back and do January and February and March, and then you would start live with us in April if you're starting Crystal Masters. If you're starting Soul Shift, we still have our 2 classes left this month in March. So yeah, and registration's open all the time, and you can go back and do the previous months and then catch up and get your certificate at the end. So it's never too late. I'm not one of those people who like closes registration and opens it and then closes it and opens it. I don't do that. Yeah. Is Rainbow Moonstone safe to get wet? Yes. Rainbow Moonstone is stable. It's a feldspar material, but it has quartz in it, but it is safe to get wet. The crystals you don't want to get wet are selenite, aragonite. Right. There are some crystals that are not stable in water, but your moonstone is safe. Yeah. Let's see. What is the difference between green Aventurine and green Fuchsite? They look so similar. Yeah, it's really true. It's a great question from Karen from Kaz. So Fuchsite is a different mineral called muscovite. And so a muscovite has a mica-like texture to it. So it has a little bit of a shimmer. So I can totally see where you would look at those and say, that's interesting. Are those the same mineral? But muscovite and quartz are two different minerals from two different families. That's a great question. Will there be a class geared to young people and teens? I have some teens in my crystal healing class. I have taught a couple of classes for kids. There's a class called Crystals for Kids. I think it's pay-per-view at sagegoddess.com. If the team knows where it is, they can post a link for you. And I did a quick class on crystals for kids. Before the pandemic, I told you about what I did with my son's class. For my daughter, I came once a month and I taught the kids about 2 crystals a month during their lunch hour. And then I brought those crystals for the kids to take home. So I've been working with young kids and teaching them about crystals. It was part of a mentorship program that the school was doing, so people could come in and teach kids about things that they were really passionate about. So I got to mentor kids in crystals. This was 2 years ago. And so I did that little class, which was kind of like what I was teaching to these 5th graders at the time. But I would say if you have older teenagers, they might really enjoy Crystal Masters. It won't be too much for them or too ahead of them. Let's see. What stones would be good for PMS? I like Bloodstone for PMS because Bloodstone's a pain reliever. Bloodstone, Axonite, and Natrolite are the 3 stones that help with pain. A lot of people consider them anti-inflammatory stones. So those are the ones that I kind of go to. And they're just good all around for pain. It doesn't have to be menstrual pain. It could be muscular pain that you're experiencing. I deal with, because I have MS, so I deal with neuralgia, which is a nerve pain, and it can show up in my body anywhere, in my arms, my legs, my back, whatever. So those are the crystals that I work with for pain and discomfort. Yeah. Can I tell you about Moldavite? You got your first piece today. Well, first of all, congratulations. Hey, Bree. Moldavite's awesome. It's also becoming very scarce. Moldavite is, let me show it to you up close. Moldavite comes from the Czech Republic. It's the result of a meteoric collision that happened just outside the region of the Moldau River in Czechoslovakia, which is why it's called Moldavite. And so it's not actually a mineral. It doesn't have a crystal structure. It's called amorphous. When something doesn't have a crystal structure, like it's not hexagonal, it's not tetragonal, it's not octagonal, then it's called amorphous. And because this is a tectonic glass, it literally was formed when that meteor hit the Earth. And so some people don't like it because technically it's not of this Earth. But that's why I love it. I mean, I wear this ring every day. And I have for 6 or 7 years. I mean, anybody who's worked with me ever knows that I don't take this ring off that finger. I just love Moldavite because for me, it really helps to deepen meditation and enhance your spirit connection. And given what I do, that's really helpful. Lena's asking about stones for achy joints. I'm going to recommend the same stones that I just mentioned to you, Lena, which is going to be that Natrolite, Bloodstone, Axonite. It's kind of the holy trinity for pain. Yeah, and then you can start to work with essential oils. My number one tool, honestly, for physical healing is sound. That's the reason. So at Sage Goddess, we make our own custom sound tools. We make our own quartz tuning forks, quartz singing bowls. I'm about to bring you quartz Merkabas. We've done tuning forks. I mentioned that already. I love rain sticks, and we're bringing you rain discs, and we've brought you rattles, and I really like to work with sound because I think it's kind of a trifecta between aromatherapy, crystals, and sound. If you can combine all 3 of those, I think any kind of healing that you seek is really possible. How do you make singing quartz sing? I can, when we're toward the end tonight, if you want, I can do a little demo for you of sound tools. But quartz sings because it's quartz. Yeah, I'll show it to you in just a little while. You'd like to know more about your certificates this year. So if you graduate from Crystal Masters in December, you're getting certified as a Crystal Master. If you graduate from Soul Shift, you're getting certified as a graduate of Soul Shift. You get 4 certificates. I'm going to fill up your wall really fast. They're beautiful certificates too. We change the art and everything every year. So this year you're getting certified as a Crystal Master, a graduate of Soul Shift. You're getting certified as an Elemental Healer, and you're getting certified as an Alchemist. And all of that can go on your resume. My programs are certified by a global governing body. It was actually a big process that we had to go through. So we're certified by the International Practitioners of Holistic Medicine, and that certification is recognized in every country around the world. So that's a big deal. I had to show them my PhD, and I had to show my diploma, and I had to write out my learning objectives for my classes, and it's a real certification. It's not just kind of a rubber stamp. So anyway, you're certified by Sage Goddess, but you're also certified by the IPHM, which is a globally recognized body. Yeah. Yeah, for autism, I actually don't prefer crystals. When I'm working with people on the spectrum, sound is the magic. I have had a real success working with our clients and our communities whose children are on the spectrum, working with singing bowls and singing tools. So if you have a child on the spectrum, or a friend or a neighbor or someone that you love, I would highly recommend looking into crystal singing tools. It's powerful. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I like that. Athena Mack had a shower and she's back. Welcome back, girl. Do you have to turn in any work to me? Nope. There are people who, so you have to remember, like I said, I was a college professor for 15 years. I have a PhD in educational leadership. And so I'm an expert in adult learning. And adults don't learn best by testing them. It's been proven. So I don't test people. The test for me is I watch your growth. That's how I know if you did the work or not. And people go through amazing growth. But when you test people on things, all you're testing is their ability to memorize something. But you're not actually testing whether they learned anything. Smart people can just memorize things, but they totally don't get it. You know what I mean? So it's like, that just proves that you can memorize something and spit it back, which for me is not really a measure of learning. No case studies. There is a written assignment this year, but it's optional. It's called the Crucible Paper, and most people want to do it. I wrote it and gave my students my paper about my life. And then I said it's optional. So if you get inspired, you read mine and you're like, I want to write that, then you can write yours and I'll read it. But you also don't have to write it if you don't want to. And I didn't give them a page limit. I think mine is like 10 pages, but I said it could be half a page or it could be 50 pages. It's the kind of paper when you start writing it, you can't stop. It's like writing your autobiography. So Soul Shift. How do I describe Soul Shift to you? Soul Shift is the program in spiritual transformation at Sage Goddess. It includes Crystal Masters. So that's 1 week of the 4 weeks of Soul Shift. Soul Shift meets every week, every Wednesday from 2 to 3. So 4 hours a month. I do live readings. I channel and I use oracle cards. So I do readings for my students. And then from 4 to 6 every Wednesday, we have a 2-hour class. So the first week of the month is alchemy, which is the study of spiritual transformation, and I'm walking you through that. The second class of each month is Crystal Masters. The third class of each month is a shamanic journey that I lead you through, and I either use chimes or drums or rain tools or my voice or whatever it is to guide you through a shamanic journey. And then the fourth week of each month is crafting. We make things together and we hang out and I answer your questions and we chit chat. And then I do something called coaching, where you get to submit 1 question every month and I record my answers to everybody's questions and give that to you. So you can listen to that whenever you want. So that's Soul Shift. Soul Shift is kind of everything I know, So, and I try to chunk it up in a way that makes sense. And there's interconnections between everything. So, you know what I mean? But the first week is intellectual. The second week is application with your crystals. The third week is you lay back and have an experience. And then the fourth week is making something with your hands that you can work with. And it's either crafting or it's experiencing something together. So, yeah, and Alexis can help. There's a question in the feed, Alexis, about how to upgrade or downgrade your membership. You can do all of that through your account at sagegoddess.com, but Alexis and Hannah can give you some guidance there in the feed too. No, I see you. Andrea Lopez said, after 8 years, where am I on the scale now? I started fast, fell away, came back. I've been through so much in 8 years. One of the things I'm always going to teach you as a teacher, a spiritual teacher, because I've been doing this work all my life. It's a cycle, and it's iterative, meaning it's not a line. You don't go from A to B to C to D, and then poof, you graduate, and you're all done, and you're perfect, and you'll never have a problem again. The real way that spiritual work happens is you go A to B to C and back to A. And then you go to F and back to A. And then you go to G, H, I, and back to A, right? So sometimes it feels like 2 steps forward. Have a drink of my sparkling water. Sometimes I forget that I've been talking for almost 3 hours today, nonstop. So I'm like, but anyway, so that's how the process is. It's the same thing for me. I mean, because I'm still learning and growing. I'm not done with my spiritual work. It's a process for me. I take 2 steps forward, and then I take a step back, and then I beat myself up, and then I remember that's how everybody is, right? Yeah, so Soul Shift. So I'm in Los Angeles, California, so all the times are Pacific Standard Time. So Soul Shift is, the readings are from 2 to 3 p.m. Pacific, which is 5 to 6 Eastern on Wednesdays. And then class is 4 to 6 Pacific on Wednesdays, 7 to 9 Eastern. And then they're recorded. So every class is recorded. I would say half the people come live, half don't. And then my team takes notes for you, so you don't have to take any notes. And then we post the notes. So, and some people sign up and start the class like 2 or 3 months later because they're busy. Yeah. And I have quite a few students, it might sound crazy to you, who sign up and don't come to class. They join Soul Shift for the Facebook group and the container that I hold. And that's what they're there for. Sometimes they come to class, but sometimes they don't. So there's not a rule about that. I would like you, before the end of the year, to complete the worksheets, because there's worksheets every month. And that for me is really what makes me feel confident in certifying you, because the written content and Crystal Masters content. So I think the first 2 sessions of the month are really critical to you getting the most out of the program. The journeys are about you taking it inward and having a physical experience, right? So that's up to you. And then the 4th class, the crafting and the connecting, again, that's sort of, I think that's more optional. The first 2 classes are really what you're being certified in. Yeah. Angela, did you have a question? I'm sorry, I see that you're asking, but I don't know. I'm not sure which part of what I said confused you, so you'll have to let me know. Yeah, I did a class on light codes. I'm so glad you liked that one. And thank you, Vanya, for that. That means a lot. Let's see. I don't know much about crystals. Should I do the Crystal Masters first or Soul Shift? And you enjoyed the sound tonight, too. You know what I'll tell you? If you're brand new and you don't know where to start with Crystal Masters and see how you go. Like I said earlier, I'm kind of a crawl, walk, run person. When people come in and they say, I'm brand new to crystals, I don't own anything, what should I buy? I usually recommend one crystal. If they've never taken an online class with me, I usually say, start with Crystal Masters, and if you love it and you want more, you can upgrade to Soul Shift. But you might find that Crystal Masters is just the perfect thing for you, and that's all you need. So for me, it's like, I think starting slow is always good. What I don't like to do personally is like run into things, overwhelm myself, and then I feel like I can't keep up. I like to start things kind of small and then see if I like it, and then if I like it, I do a little bit more. Yeah. Oh, Celestite. We can talk about Celestite. It's one of my favorite stones. We have these hearts right now, and they're so absolutely beautiful. If you want to learn a lot about Celestite, go to my YouTube channel. I did an interview with a man named George, and he actually teaches in that interview about his experience in the Celestite mines in Madagascar. And the most interesting thing about mining this crystal, you guys, the mines are very deep. And so what they do, and there's not a lot of oxygen, okay? So what they do is they put candles in the mines before they go in. And if the candle stays lit, they know they have enough oxygen and they'll be safe. If the candle goes out, everybody out of the mine. And that's Celestite. Comes from deep, deep, deep within the earth in Madagascar. And it's the Stone of Angels. It's one of the first stones I ever bought myself. I had to put it on layaway. It's really true. I was 20 and I went into a store and they had a piece of Celestite and I freaked out because I thought it was the prettiest thing I ever saw. But it was like $60 and I didn't have $60, so I had to put it on layaway. And I came back every month to make my payment because it was back in the, when was that? 91, 92, 93. So we didn't have internets and Venmo and all. I didn't have a credit card. So I made my little monthly payment and got my Celestite, and I still have my original piece of it. So I did these interviews in February, one with George, who is a master of everything Madagascar, one with Diego, who's my friend from Mexico. I went all the way through the country of Mexico with him in 2019. And, you know, looking at Veracruz amethyst and the fluorites and the onyxes and everything that comes from Mexico. He's a master of everything Mexico. And then I did an interview with Shram, who lives in northern India near the Pakistani border. I did an interview with Momo, who was live with me from Bali. And then, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on my last interview? Jose from Brazil. So if you want to learn more, those are 5 hours of free interviews that you can watch on YouTube on the channel. So make sure you subscribe there. That way you'll get an update. I always admit my age. I'm turning 48 in August. And I'm really proud of that. I feel really good for 48. I mean, I'm not like the youngest looking 48 you'll ever see, but I feel really good. I'm very proud of my age. I feel like I've earned every single one of these years. And I have very gray hair, but I got it colored so it doesn't look so bad. I'm glad you liked the interviews too. Shram is fantastic and he's single. I don't know if he's ready to mingle, but he is single. I love that. Well, I love you, Athena Mac. I'm so glad that we're connected anyway, and you'll know if it's time or when it's time to come back. Yeah, it's good to honor your guide's wisdom. It's true. It's true, Rhonda. She said that I teach you guys that if you don't have the tools, it's okay. Here's what I will always tell you. Always prioritize education over things. Honestly, that's one of the first things my parents taught me as an immigrant. Always prioritize education over stuff, because education is a gift you give yourself for the rest of your life, right? You might learn something in Crystal Masters this year that teaches you how to heal yourself or someone you love. Like, you can't put a price on that. But so I always, if I have to choose between a class and a tool, I choose the class and I leave the tool, because you can always get a tool later, right? You can't always get a class later. So that's my philosophy. It's always been that way. And I'll tell you, I never have enough tools for everybody in classes anyway. So there's absolutely zero pressure. There's only so many crystals in the world, and I can't get all of them. So we do our best, but we sometimes don't have enough for everybody. And I think that's okay too. It teaches people to focus on their education and not to focus on, do I have the thing? Do you know what I mean? It's really important to me. Let's see. I joined Crystal Masters in January, and by half what through February I was upgraded to Soul Shift. Well, you know, and like I said, if you enjoy it, it's awesome to upgrade. And if you feel like you've got enough, like that's cool too. I am not, and I will also tell you this: go at your own pace. When people will say, "Oh, I was late to class," or "Oh, I missed that week," or now I got to catch up. It's like, this is not college. Do you know what I mean? Go at your own pace. Make sure you enjoy it. Don't rush yourself. Don't put a bunch of pressure on yourself to finish things by a certain time. I mean, like I said, you have to finish the classes by December to get your certificate, but we're in March. So if you want to take a month off, I mean, this is very easy, go at your own pace. And by the way, there's no long-term commitment. Like, you can start and cancel at any time. You can upgrade and downgrade anytime. It's a really fluid, easy process. What crystals for sleep? Love this question. So my holy trinity for sleep, no doubt about it, is amethyst, because amethyst brings peace and rest. I definitely feel like sodalite helps to keep you asleep. And then I love stillbite because it helps me remember my dreams. So sodalite, amethyst, and stillbite for sleep. I make little weird songs because when I was a teacher, that would help students remember things. Thank you. No, I mean, I definitely feel 48. Some days I feel 148 because I'm raising 2 preteens. Actually, one is a teenager and the other one's a preteen. During a pandemic, at home by myself, while I work full time and support my employees and help my parents. So some days I really feel 148. But I am going to offer classes next year. They will not be the same. I don't do the same thing twice. So yes, I will teach next year. I don't know what it will be yet. So what I would say is, if you want what we're doing this year in Crystal Masters, and if you want alchemy, I will not teach alchemy again next year. It would be redundant. And a lot of my students have been with me for a long time. I have a lot of students who've been with me the whole 9 years I've been doing this. They've just been here forever. They're on an auto thing. They just register again and register again. They just know they want to keep going with me, which I love and appreciate. And but I can't repeat content because they would be so bored. So I never repeat anything month to month or year to year. Plus I get bored. Yeah. I don't know if Crystal Masters will continue next year. Might be something slightly different. But I never know that until later in the year. Yeah. It depends on like how much more I have to go. Oh, you're so welcome. I'm glad this was helpful. Do I record any of the sounds for meditation? I've recorded some of them. That's a great reminder though, Paige Lewis. I need to do that. I have recorded some sound stuff for Soul Shift. Sometimes I'll do these little like bonus guided audio things for them. I did a drumming one. What else did I do, you guys? Do you remember? Yeah. What crystals for ADHD? Oh my God, the best crystals for ADHD. Ready? Ready, go. Because I have ADHD. Probably doesn't surprise you. Although I'm better now than I was in my younger years. And by the way, I think that ADHD is really good for creative people. I've had people say, you know, there's medication you can take for that. And I'm like, why would I take medication for it? It's kind of my secret. Because I'm like nothing kind of gets me down. I'm just on to the next thing, you know? And so I think if I was more focused, I wouldn't be as happy. Hyperstain for ADHD, fluorite for ADHD. Those are your crystals. HYPERSTHENE. We have some at sagegoddess.com. And I just love fluorite. I love a nice green and blue fluorite or purple fluorite for focus. Fluorite is the best stone for young people with ADHD. I like hyperstain for mood disorders. And I also like hyperstain for folks on the spectrum. I've had a lot of clients have a lot of success. Yeah. Yeah, we did our PAM protection, and we've done all kinds of, I do a lot of bonus classes for Soul Shift. I do. So we just, you know, because sometimes students will say, could you teach us this? Could you teach us this? And so we just schedule a bonus class. Because sometimes what people want is not related to what I'm teaching, but it doesn't mean it's not interesting. And it's certainly relevant. So I try to honor all the requests that come in. My gold henna tattoos don't mean anything per se. These are all, so we make these at Sage Goddess and I just have them on all the time. And this is a temporary tattoo as well. They're based on traditional Indian henna designs and I'm just obsessed with them. So I have them on all the time. They last me about, on my hands and arms, they last me for about a week, and this one lasts me for 3 weeks because it's, I don't really scrub this part of my body very often. So, oh, thank you, Raybad. That's really sweet. It's nice to meet you. Yeah, fluorite's really good if you're cramming for a test. My kids have fluorite on their little desks here because they're doing remote learning, so. Good night, Kiana. It was great to have you here. Yeah, so ADD are those stones. Hypersthene, fluorite's really good for focus. And then, but we got to talk about aromatherapy when we talk about ADHD. Like we have to talk about rosemary. Rosemary's so good for just bringing you right into the present moment. So I really, again, I'm kind of a holistic healer. I love crystals. It's my first love, but I also really love herbs and aromatherapy and incense, and I love sound. So for me, it's about the alchemy of the different tools because, you know, for me, like, fluorite's great, but man, I smell rosemary and I'm in. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Mary Sal says, my daughter's in medical school. Congratulations, by the way. Good job, mama. She said she's lacking confidence to take her first medical boards. Confidence is a whole other thing. So let's talk about that for a second. Pyrite, citrine, brucite. Those are really good stones for confidence. And then make sure when she goes to take her boards, make sure she has Aventurine with her. Ideally somewhere where it's making skin contact, like stick it in her bra or, you know what I mean? Or like wire wrap it so she can wear it. Because that'll be for good luck, yeah. Crystals for trauma. Oh, I thought I had it here. Blue opal is amazing for healing trauma. And then another crystal that comes from Pakistan, which is called manganese calcite. It's the most tender, beautiful pink calcite. It's really good for trauma healing. And then I also like rhodochrosite for healing trauma. These are just really tender, easy to work with stones. And then of course the blue Lemurian calcite is good for harmonizing energies, which is important for healing after trauma. Is there a brand of essential oils I recommend? Not necessarily. My best experience for me personally, because I carry essential oils, but I don't sell them. It was just too much trouble to keep them in stock. But I love Young Living. I really do. I'm not a rep. As a rule, like I don't participate in any of that because I'm not judgmental about it. I don't like to be a rep for things. So if you want Young Living oils, you'd have to find somebody who distributes them. I just buy them directly off the website, and I feel like their products are really good quality. I had a not so good experience with doTERRA, so I don't work with their oils, but I've had really good experiences with Young Living. And I like their blends too, yeah. Let's see, crystals for stress. I'm gonna take about 2 more questions just because I know we're already at the top of the hour and I wanna be mindful of your time too. Crystals for stress. Lepidolite is so good. It's micanized lithium. Any kind of lithium is good. So you can find lithium quartz. There's a stone called Trallite that has lithium in it, so that's really good too. Rose quartz is nice for stress too. I like that as well. And then you want to use, when you're stressed and you're feeling anxious, you really want to choose stones that activate and support your root chakra. I like red jasper. I like red aventurine. I like hematite for really, like if you're in a panic attack, I do like hematite for that. Jet onyx are really good too, like in really lower chakra stones to stabilize your energy field. And then lepidolite. Lepidolite helps to get you out of that loop. Do you ever spin on things? I do this. Like I think and overthink and think and overthink. Lepidolite kind of bounces you out of that too. Totally, Carly. It's so good for depression. And I've had radical clinical depression in my life, so I know what that's like. And lepidolite's really, really good. It is kind of like Prozac. I mean, it's not as good as Prozac, but, you know. Oh, nice. Valerie's giving us a recommendation. Valerie B says, I love Revive oils. The Chemist is from Young Living, but they're more affordable. That's awesome. I learned so much from you guys too. I really do. So one of the, if you're new to me and you're thinking about signing up for classes, one of the reasons I love that feed, I'm not the only smart person in the room, right? You're going to be stepping into a community of really smart folks with massive experience. So what I always like to say is learn from me, but also watch that feed, because you're going to get some good suggestions and tips. People are creative, and you know, you'll learn from each other too, and not just from me. Yeah, I'm so glad this was helpful for you. So let me take Megan Easton's question as the last question for tonight. And Megan, I'm so glad you were here. I know you were stressed about not making it at the beginning of the ceremony, but I hope you really have enjoyed your time together, or with us tonight. I'm glad you were here. For protection, best stone, black tourmaline. Black tourmaline protects people, places, and things. It protects you physically. It protects your home and your possessions from theft. Smoky quartz is great because it transmutes negative energy, so it absorbs the bad and then transmutes it so it becomes usable energy. Others that I love for protection, those are really my go-tos. I really do like Adhd for creating like a border or a boundary around my aura. Like if I feel like there's too much energy around, I'll use Adhd. Golden Sheen Obsidian's really good for that too. I like that a lot too. Well, gosh, Karen Parmenter, you made my night. I think that's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me before. I really appreciate it. Did you really? I love that. Diane says she went back and got her RN degree at 30. I think it's fantastic. And you know, when I was a professor, I was a young professor. I got my PhD at 29, and then I retired from university life when I was, 15 years later. So I was 40, is that right? 10 years later, sorry. So that was 39 is when I retired from university life. It was 2011 when I retired, so 83, 93. Yeah, in that range. And, you know, my students were all older than me, which I loved. But I was teaching master's degree students and doctoral students. But I was always the youngest person in the room. And I just had so much respect for people who, as adults, you know, after having kids, after their first career or whatever, coming back to get their education, I just always felt really honored to be able to teach people who are older than me, you know? We don't have scholarships, however, we do have a program called Fairies. And so sometimes when students run into hardships, the fairies get together and support them. I donate directly to the Fairy Fund, so that's how I support. And then sometimes members also donate. So if you ever join programs and you hit a real hard place, obviously they don't have enough to pay for everybody, but they'll jump in and pinch in a hard moment for people, which I think is really sweet too. My chakra book is in stock, and I think my crystal history book, I've written 3 books. I'm really proud because I just submitted my new book proposal to a new publisher today. So we'll see what's going to happen there. But I've written 3 best-selling books, which is really exciting. 1 on chakras, 1 on blessings, and 1 on crystal history. And you can find them on Amazon. And then on sagegoddess.com, you can find signed copies if you'd like me to actually write a little note. I do that too. All right, you guys. Well, what a pleasure to be with you tonight. Thank you so much. I want to thank Hannah and Alexis for staying late tonight too to moderate. Appreciate you so much. So have a great weekend, you guys. Happy spring. If you got inspired tonight and you're like, I want to take classes, sagegoddess.com/programs. And also I think the team is pinning that link or posting that link for you too. There's 2 links. You can go to sagegoddess.com/classes or sagegoddess.com/programs. They'll both get you to the registration page, and we'd love to have you. And even if you don't join classes, please do make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to be doing more and more there. I do free ceremonies, new moon, full moon, and then the high holidays every month. So you're always welcome to join us in whatever way works best for you. Truly. Thanks, you guys. It was a pleasure. Happy spring. Have a great weekend.